Hey, what's up y'all? It is Tashira of Politics and Fashion here with another video today all about my work from home productivity hacks. But before I get started, if you are down for videos that are all about intentional living and are focused on style and self-care, then don't forget to subscribe to my channel and just keep watching. So while we're all in this just very insane time, difficult time, I know many folks, if they're fortunate, are working from home. And I wanted to share some of those productivity hacks that have helped me to keep focused, not just during this time period, but those periods in my life where I have had careers, where I have worked from home. Even now, I work full-time in fashion, but I maximize my off days and my time before work to really pour into my side hustles. I will link up here in one of the e-cards a video that's all about my side hustles. So what has allowed me to manage multiple streams of income at one time are all of these productivity hacks that I'm about to share with you in this video. First things first is my bullet journal. If you follow me over on IG, this is not going to be a surprise at all. In fact, I have a bullet journal highlight on my stories, but it's this. So this is just a disc bound agenda cover from Cloth and Paper. I've taken the little discs out that would traditionally go here, and I have put my bullet journal on the right hand side. And for folks who don't know, it is a system that was created by this really cool guy named Ryder Carroll. He has a whole bunch of resources if you want to check him out, and it is a system for productivity and for me also for self-care, because I'm able to track really important habits like drinking water, exercising, wearing my retainers. I know it sounds like I'm 13, but I track all those things just to make sure that I'm living as mindfully and intentionally as possible. So just to let you all know, I start each month with a spread that lays out my goals. It also lays out a calendar so I can see my month at a glance. What I also really like to do is include some of those things that I know are going to make me happy. What are those happiness tasks that I have in mind as well? I think it's so easy just to go, but one of the important tips for productivity is making time to rest and making time for self-care. If you don't have that investment pouring into you, then of course you're never going to be able to give 100% to your work. And so I like to track the things that not only make me happy, but also I use my 21-day happiness project to do a quick brain dump monthly of all those things that make me happy in my 21-day happiness project toolkit, which is available on Etsy. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about my 21-day happiness project, because I also really believe that it's important as we are trying to be our most productive that we also make time for self-care. It is so easy to burn yourself out, especially when you are passionate about your work. I've been there, done that. Used to be an attorney for children in the child welfare system. So I know what it's like to work yourself to the bone for a greater and more important cause. But I'm telling you, the most important cause you have in your life is you. Because if you are not healthy and you are not well, how could you serve someone else, whether it is your family or your career? And so the 21-day happiness project is something that I incorporate into my schedule every week, because it is a toolkit that I have created that takes you from the very brainstorm kind of part of what makes me happy all the way to being intentional about making room for joy every single day. The other work from home productivity hack I have is to get dressed. Get dressed. Get dressed. Get dressed. You can fight me and then get dressed. It's just something that I feel like is so important as we are in the midst of this whole pandemic. Number one, because it helps to bring some normalcy to our days, as much normalcy as we can create. And number two, it helps to in ways delineate the daytime from the nighttime, the work time from the rest time. Just a simple act of putting on real clothes, I think, is important in our self-care practices. How we look manages how we feel. How we feel, of course, matters, and it allows us to be focused and to get more done. Now, I am a big fan of project management tools. The favorite one that I found so far is an online tool called Trello. It also is an app for your iPhone, your iPad, Android, all that stuff. And Trello is really dope because it allows you to have these kind of boards of tasks that you can manipulate, that you can put in different categories. You can assign tasks to certain people. And I use Trello for everything from blog posts to newsletter topics to brainstorm topics, now to YouTube topics. topics, and it just is a great visual across so that I can see how am I repurposing content, how am I staying on track, and most importantly, what's coming up. So for me currently, Trello is the best editorial calendar that I found, and I think that it is great for any number of careers, especially if you're working from home and you have team members that you need to assign tasks to, or that you need to all stay focused on one greater goal. Another really important thing is to work in time chunks. I read some research, or I heard research, that most adults can only focus for 45 minutes at a time. Don't know if that's true, but I definitely incorporate that principle into my life. I think that our brains get exhausted and we have this tendency to just try to push forward, but then we start opening tabs, we start shopping at Target, we start checking on our kids at daycare, and before we know it, half the day is gone and we really haven't gotten a whole lot done. And that's because when our mind started to signal that it was overwhelmed, we just kept going instead of taking a break. So breaks are really, really important, and time chunking your day is a great principle to stay focused but also rest, so that when you do go back into a space of focus, you actually are able to get things done. If you find yourself getting very distracted during the day, then I suggest an app called Pomodoro. There are a bunch of them out there. You can even just do a good old-fashioned timer on your phone, or like a actual timer, physical timer that you use. I've seen some cool ones on Amazon. I'll link them below, that are like blocks that you can turn on each side depending on how much time you need to focus on something. I have a friend who is a law professor, and she uses this all the time to focus on her writing. She actually recommended Pomodoro to me, and so if it's good enough for really, 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 really smart people like law professors, I think it's good for me and you. Another work from home productivity hack is to make time for rest. Not only do I recommend that 45 minutes on, I should also say what's important is 15 minutes off. 45 minutes on, 15 minutes off. 45 minutes on, 15 minutes off. And that 15 minutes, get up, stand up, take a break, stretch, get some water, do whatever you have to do to just allow yourself to have a little bit of reprieve and relax. I also recommend, if you can, to not schedule back-to-back calls or back-to-back Zoom meetings during the day, because how can you focus going from meeting to meeting to meeting to meeting? It's just almost impossible. And so you tend to get a sense of overwhelm just because your brain is like, chick, can we all just take a break? And you're like, no, brain, it's really important for me to sit in 11 meetings in this time span of 2 hours. That's not good for anybody, okay? So schedule time to break, schedule time for your meals as well. If you have to, schedule time for some yoga and some exercise, but your rest is just as important in your working time in order to be productive. If you can't remember to actually rest, that's where calendar reminders come in. So I already said that I make sure to use my bullet journal as well as a actual calendar on my phone attached to Google or attached to Outlook. It just depends. Right now I'm using the one that's attached to my Gmail account. But what I found is that setting reminders to do things like drink water, setting reminders to stop working, setting reminders to take a lunch break, setting reminders to just get shit done for my appointments, obviously, is really the best way to stay focused and to stay on track throughout the day. We get comfortable working on any number of things, and I feel like for me, my comfortable spot is creating content. I could create content all day long if given the opportunity to, but I have to set a reminder to remind myself, you have XYZ call. You also need to take a break and actually focus on something different. It's hard, but I have to do it. If you have a very appointment heavy schedule, or if you're a part of an organization or corporation that loves to meet, sometimes it can take a week just to figure out the best time to hold the meeting. And yes, there are certain online tools like, what's the online scheduler that people use? I cannot think of the name. Doodle. So there are online scheduling tools like Doodle, but I found that something called Calendly works even better than Doodle. So what you do is you connect it to your Gmail calendar, and Calendly then pulls from Gmail times that you are available versus unavailable. So then I send to, let's say you and I wanted to schedule a meeting about a spring capsule wardrobe. So I send you a link to my Calendly to say, hey friend, let's schedule a time to chat. And then when you click on that link, it only shows you what times I'm available. You look at your schedule and then you type in your name and the purpose of our appointment, and bam, it hits my Gmail calendar and it is all good in the hood. It has saved me so much time, and I've even seen people put their Calendly link in their bio, like not their bio, their signature block on their email to just remind people, here is where you go when you want to schedule a meeting with me. It makes me happy to see that level of productivity and just like cut to the chase. It is one of my #1 productivity hacks, Calendly. You will not regret it. Thank you so much for watching. If you are down for more style and self-care inspiration, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up, and I will see you across the internets. Peace.